Yeah. I want to start documenting everything in here that we're doing, not just special episodes. So even the Thomas build, you know, we have the Chasing Passion series. I'd like to kind of get more in depth on the actual process that's going on and not just, you know, the production. So right now I am working on the lower portion of the fuel cell in the back half. I guess you'd call that just the rear chassis, but this is the lower plate section. You can see there's some reference here, so I'm going to be working on the internal rib system that's hiding under all that plate work. So you can see I've kind of prepped all the metal. Even though it's chromoly, it still has a mill scale on it, and you can see where I've hit it with the Scotch, where that's where general reference where I'm going to do my layout and run our internal gussets or ribs. So this will be a four-sided piece. We'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. The ribs will go in and I can get solid welds on them, and I can build the sides out as well. And the top cap will have a keyway, which will have like a slot that will expose the vertical portion on the horizontal plane, where I can get in there and weld it and sandwich them together and hold them on top of having seam welds. So this is going to add the rigidity. Instead of just being a hollow plate structure, this will have, you know, like trussing in it that will add complete rigidity in every single way. So this is the exotic Prerunner, just kind of the foundation for the back half that we're building. This is full custom in-house, very, you know, you could call it next level, and sometimes calling your own stuff next level is a little tricky to me. So just with that theme, you know, exotic Prerunner, I'm sure there's people out there that are, oh, it's just an off-road truck, and it's just, come on, it's just gonna, you know, what's making it so special? And it's not. You know, it's almost like a concept car, where when a big corporation, you know, or a car manufacturer, automobile manufacturer, it builds a concept car, it's really an exercise in pushing design and pushing the limits and the concept of like what the future holds, or what that concept is, what they're going for years to come. You know, it's speaking a language of what the company or the brand is about. And with this vehicle, it's doing that. It's showing design in all its greatness. And before that, it's functional, and it's functional design. And that's where we're at with the rear of this. We wanted to stray away from just what your traditional back half looks like, or what your radius and fuel cell and this and that. And I get that for race cars and race trucks, and that makes sense. And I'm like, I don't have any problem with that stuff, but there's other ways to do things. And there's, you know, this is a flagship, and doing something different, it's not so much me trying to do something different, it's just letting my mind and letting good design flow in the ways where it functionally is a completely different package. So what we're doing here, this is just my mock-up. It's more or less the size of like a 42-inch tire versus a 40. So you can already see that the design and the layout is not typical. It's gonna run 2 fuel cells. They will have radius in them to kind of hug the tires. This lower profile, this is all plate, lower profile, all chromoly, with a radius in the rear. So we did have bed sides that I use for reference. I had our wheel and tire package on here, bumped this thing out, and kind of tailored this to the back of the car. But this just ties in with the rest of the design of the truck. So there's a lot of, if you kind of dissected this truck and you hung it up like a shark that you caught and you looked at the bottom, you would see a strong tube layout going all through the middle, and then you'd see like plate work appointments, all kind of appendages hanging off the thing. And it's the same with this, like the tube work just runs fluid through the chassis, through the middle, and then the plate work kind of, it just trickles into the plate work. Same with all like the structural, down tubes and structural B-pillars. It's the same stuff we're gonna incorporate coming off of here, and having these fuel tanks housed back here with the spares. There'll be a winch in here, onboard air, fresh water. Lots of amenities to still make this like a completely functional Prerunner. We just want to do it in a way where the packaging lends to the form and function. Just like if someone was modeling like a sculpture or something else, I kind of have I do this stuff digitally, do initial sketches of our concept and what we want to go for. And what I've been doing lately is just taking pictures where I can take them and put them in the computer and then digitally sketch kind of our proportions, and we'll put some of those up for you guys to look at right now. And then I have a couple on a board here. So I just kind of keep this thing local. Just set it here and work off of it. So it really shows this is just keen to what I'm working on right now. And then once I build this whole lower platform, which this is this lower platform that we're talking about with the plate. This is the internal rib structure just on the passenger side. That's this right here. So this gives me a really good idea of the direction we're going right off the bat. And then I can come in here motivated and just start going. And I don't have to be engineering something in my head as I'm building. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I know where the plates need to land. I know the shape that it needs to have. Right off the bat, boom, 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 hit it. So that's where we're at. The next structure, right now I'm working on welding all this stuff to the bottom plate. It's just going to be stitched appropriate, just like if you had keyways, like laser cut keyways. We'll do the vertical sides of this structure to start boxing it in, which are like these sides, right? So inside and outside verticals. Once we get that done, I'm going to make the top plates, and those will have keyways. So the keyways will tag into every single internal gusset or rib, and I'll have enough space in there to grab that material, add filler, and then grab the top material and weld them all together, so it kind of locks everything in. Once we get to a point with this where it's all welded out, then I'm going to start addressing this side structure, which is going to be very similar to the structural sculpted areas on the car. We're going to kind of do that same program. So this is like, I guess you could call it tube on plate, right? So there's a 2-inch tube in here, a 3/4 inch tube, and then 90 wall chromoly plate built on tangent, full pin welded and blended and grained. So same thing, that will all trickle onto the sides here. And I think we might even finish maybe just the rear edges of this. I have 2 more tubes to do per side to where the lower profile, the lower portion of this is solidified. It's got a really nice feature on the underside in the middle that I kind of want to talk about. So we'll go there. So you can see the housing's at full bump. But what we have here is we kind of have some trays where this middle portion where the spares go, it's elevated and they're actually level. So they're not dumped out where like the top profile of this thing's gonna have like some wing of spare tire here. It's only a couple degrees higher in the rear. And then the actual, where the fuel tanks are gonna be housed, have that kick. And you can kind of see here the difference between the top spare tire profile and then your extra capacity here of kick. And in the middle, that's going to actually be open. So you can see under here, there's a pretty substantial amount of room where it's not just a straight tube going across like a traditional rear back half. It's actually a pretty large cavity that goes up. And what that's going to do is that's going to lend itself to any kind of 2-track or ground clearance issues. You know, if you're in a 2-track, which is essentially a desert version of mud ruts, it's just really deep, gnarly, rutted stuff where there's kind of a raise in the middle of the road or the trail. And when you're going through whoops or whatever's going on, you know, anything hanging down low in the middle is kind of subject to either hitting or rubbing or catching rocks or whatever. So this portion, it's not only going to be functional to keep the 2-track out of there and have ground clearance, but it's also going to add some really nice shape, similar to like a supercar and a diffuser area and something exotic. You can see I've started to do the welding back here. All the stitching is strategically laid out for stress areas. Also, you know, you got to consider when you do this plating here, there's going to be stitches on the vertical faces too. So you just want to make that stuff hit exactly where it needs to. So that's what I've got so far on this thing. We'll update again and kind of go through the next phase. This is my baby, and I'm extremely excited about the progress on this thing. I'm really happy that we have a design going like this, and I can't wait to see it all the way through. So this is just a check-in to kind of see where we're at with this thing right now. We're gonna keep everything going with the Chasing Passion series, but I just wanted to give you guys kind of a behind the scenes look at the process here and where I'm at with it, and just get you a little more in deep with what's going on. Let me know if there's something you see on here. I'm just gonna broken record out on that because that's the truth. If you guys do see something, or if there's some way I can help you or help you learn about something, then tell us and we'll do our best to get it covered. Like I said before, I'm always, I am so grateful for the clients I have. This is one of my best ones, and to be able to do this where, you know, we can put so much emphasis in design and creativity, it's like a dream come true. So super stoked on this thing. I'm gonna be just going for it until it's done. We have so many different kind of surprises and awesome features to put into this thing that I'm ecstatic to show you guys. So thank you again for the support. There's multiple projects being worked on all the time. We're gonna keep updates coming. So I hope you guys have a good week, have a good Monday, and like and subscribe. Like and subscribe, dude!